And on CocoWire.net, we will continue to tell the stories of our communities of the African diaspora, which, as you are aware, I'm sure, are African Americans, Caribbean blacks, and Native Africans, so that we all get a better sense of how rich and interesting our communities are, even today. That's because today is part of April, which is Second Chance Month, which was created in 2017 by the Virginia-based organization Prison Fellowship to raise awareness and improve perceptions that some in the community have of people with criminal records. They also are seeking to push for change. Now, that Virginia organization, Prison Fellowship, does essentially the same work as the Florida Rights Restoration Coalition or Orlando does. Again, pushing for change for ex-felons. And change is happening. Ex-felons are voting now in Florida, thanks to Amendment 4's passage in 2018 to the Florida Constitution. And last month was the National Day of Empathy on March the 2nd. Was that last month? Yeah. Which seeks to do the same thing, inform and change the community's perception about this particular population of people. It was organized by CNN TV news show host Van Jones, and we had the Florida organizer, young prophet Bryce Graham, on cocochats talking about it too. And just this past Saturday, there was a huge job and resource fair held out in Belgrade, also for ex-felons. Now, today's guests are on that same team pushing for change in the ex-felon arena. Both of them, Ronald Dickson and Oswald Newbold, work at the ReEntry Center, which is based in Riviera Beach, but serves clients from across Palm Beach County. That's in part because it receives funding from county, state, and federal governments. It was founded in 2007, and since then has helped more than 1,200 ex-felons return successfully to their communities. So, as I said, joining us today is Ronald Dickson, the reentry coordinator for the agency, who focuses on mental health and drug addiction and works with area men and women who have been released from prison. He has a bachelor's degree in psychology from the University of Phoenix. His colleague, Oswald Newbold, knows the prison industry very well. He is a case manager at the ReEntry Center and was just 19 years old when he was arrested and would spend the next 25 years in prison. He was released in 2017, and thanks to the skills he learned inside the penitentiary, he was able to get a job in the Department of Public Works in the city of Riviera Beach, where he achieved. Now today, he mentors at-risk youth, he speaks at related public events, and even, ladies and gentlemen, he's writing a book. Today, he is also a graduate of Palm Beach Atlantic University with a bachelor's degree in organizational leadership. Ronald Dickson, Oswald Newbold. Oh, yay! How are you?
I'm very impressed. You guys just blew me away.
Thank you.
I normally leave. She knows that. I just put my headphones on.
All right.
I'm impressed.
Join the conversation.
Tell us what you were impressed with, though.
I was impressed with you. Tell me your name, not Dixon.
Oswald Newbold.
Oswald Newbold.
Yes, ma'am.
I was impressed with the fact that at 19, you got into the system.
Yeah.
Stayed for 25 years.
Right.
Wow. I was going to do the math, right? And then here you are, not just doing stuff, but excelling at it.
Achieving.
Wow.
Yay.
I'm impressed. I'm impressed by it. I'm not, your degree sounded nice and stuff, right? Mr. Dixon, but I'm truly impressed.
Thank you. But he teaching me what I know.
He's teaching you?
He teaching me what I know.
So I should be more impressed by you?
He teaching me all that I know.
Listen, I'm teaching him
teacher
everything he knows, not everything I know.
Okay. Ooh. So is it a teacher or is it the student?
It's you know what it is? It's iron sharpening iron.
Iron sharpening
iron.
iron.
That's what it is.
That's what it is.
What does that mean?
Iron sharpening iron.
Yeah, iron.
So,
when you go to
each
sharpen a
one
knife,
teaches-
when
Right,
you
iron
sharpen a
sharpens
knife,
iron.
you got to go like that. It's iron, it's metal. You're doing it against each other. That is
Right.
awesome.
Yes.
Get sharper.
Yeah.
But when he said that made me think of a crime. That didn't make me think of achievement.
That's because you don't cook.
Right.
Is that what it is?
So the thing is, I make him sharp and he makes me
He's
sharp.
sharp, yeah.
Or sharper.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, Mr. Dixon, tell us how you got involved in this field.
So my background is dual diagnosis, mental health and drug addiction, and I was at work one day and it just wasn't doing it for me. I needed another challenge, and I spoke to Ori Bullard, and he said, "Yeah."
Oh, you were at work doing something different. This.
Yes,
Okay.
yes. I was working at a drug rehab.
Okay.
And when I spoke to Ori, he said, "Yeah, this is what we do. We work with felons. I'd love to have you on." I went and interviewed for the position, and the rest is history. And this is where I'm at.
And ladies and gentlemen, Ori Bullard is he's the director of the ReEntry Center, but he wasn't able to come on the show today. But what did he say? I mean, what interested you in this work?
So for me, I have a younger cousin. She's doing life with no parole, and she just got like the real bad end of that sentence. Yes.
Wow.
And so that kind of pushed me. And then also with my degree, men and women who go to prison, if it's for a day or 1,000 days, there's some PTSD and some mental stuff going on there. So I figured that helping people who are getting out of prison, and then helping people who have that mental health, reentry would be the perfect thing for me. It's always a challenge.
But I don't know. I mean, what is it like being around like criminals all day, every day?
So there's
criminals like Oz.
So I like to say there's two type of criminals. There's criminals who did their time and want to get better.
Yeah.
There's criminals that want to continue to do what they're doing. We work with criminals that want to get better. And so if you're with us in our agency, the ReEntry Center of Riviera Beach, you want that change and you're getting the help and you're getting better. So I'd rather have those guys around than those guys who want to be out on the streets and don't want services, and those guys that want to continue to live that life.
And so how did they find out about the ReEntry Center?
Oh man, we're all over the place. We're pushing posters and flyers. We got Oswald Newbold. We got our new our reentry advocate, William Freeman. They're out there just talking to any and everybody that want to listen about reentry. And a lot of guys feel like, okay, they brush it off when they're in prison, and when they get out, they realize that it's harder than they thought. So they come to the office and they all say the same thing. Listen, I thought I can do it, but I need help. And we're right there to help them. We're right there to assist with whatever they need.
But where are y'all putting those banners and those posters, and where are people talking to people?
That's what I want to know.
Right.
Yeah,
So,
are y'all going into the prisons?
We're trying to go everywhere. We just got our Facebook page, back up and running. So we're posting on there every day. We're on the Riviera Beach, the city's website. Our stuff is there. We always have on our shirts. We're always representing. We always have business cards not too far behind. I'm sure Oz has business cards also. So being that we're posting Oz a lot on our social media stuff, he's getting calls all the time. Every day I talk to him, he say, "Man, I got like 5 people call me, and 3 of them need services, and the other 2 has someone that needs the services." So we're coming. We're getting bigger and better. We're getting there.
And as you've been talking, Mr. Newbold has been over here nodding his head.
Right.
So why is that? What were you agreeing with that you heard Mr. Dixon saying?
Well, I concur with everything he said. He said over there. He's been doing this a while, so he understands the technical side. You have to remember, when you're dealing with a population that has been behind the wall, like earlier I heard the term in him mention ex-felon.
Yeah.
And we got to remember, that word ex-felon was created to keep a bad label on a person even after the crime is done.
Right.
So when you done did the crime, did the time, and you out, ex-felon, so that means, hey, that guy's not one of us.
Right.
And so when we use the word ex-felon, we keeping a marginalized word out there that was intended to marginalize a population of people,
Dropping
no matter
jewels.
your race.
He's dropping jewels over there. Y'all better pay attention.
So that word is really an insult.
Well, and I was going to ask y'all about that too, but at least it's ex-felon, not felon.
No, the
Returning
word
citizen.
felon.
But
is in
ex-felon lets me know not to give you a job,
Right.
not to
Right.
give you housing, not to talk to you, not to
Right.
let me date your daughter, not
You're
to
a
let you
criminal.
buy a car.
You're a
Yeah.
criminal. Once
You're-
a criminal,
That's
always
it.
a criminal.
Thank you.
That's
Practically. So that's a label.
Yeah.
It's intended to marginalize.
Right.
But then how does returning citizen make that difference? Because, we still know
It's
that
code
a returning
word.
citizen
That's a better code
is
word.
returning from.
Returning
Okay.
from where?
I'm serious. I'm just curious
Right,
because
yeah.
Okay, like for instance, let me use a few things.
Okay.
Returning citizen, you're a citizen. They want you to come out here, get a job. They take taxes out your paycheck and everything. But for a long time, they didn't want to let you vote. But you want my taxes on time. I need to be a citizen. I was gone, but I'm a returning citizen. Right? So what we have to remember, certain things are systemic and unintentionally we participate in that systemic oppression. Therefore, what we're doing is looking to remove those barriers and the stigmas and the clouds, because some want for it to stay there to keep some people marginalized. But we're not worried about just removing the stigma. We're worried about excelling. Some of the greatest people came from behind the wall.
Right.
Malcolm X. I did something he did when he was locked up. He used to read a dictionary, and I used to read the dictionary. And he said we all have to become wordsmiths.
Yes.
Ex-felon is not one of the words we need.
Right. And that's semantics that we don't want to deal with. The
Right.
semantics of using the ex-felon.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And you got to remember, most of the people that end up in the system are targeted or marginalized groups, broken spirits. So one thing we don't want to do is continue to break those spirits that are already broken. We're here to rebuild.
So, but let me ask you, if the returning citizen continues to commit crimes, could we then call that person a felon or an ex-felon?
Now, either he a prisoner at that point if he's behind the wall,
But once he gets out,
and he's out, he's out. I mean, we
And
got
he's
to
a
give him a
returning-
chance. Yeah, he's a returning citizen.
Right.
So as a citizen, we looking for him to work or her to work. We're looking for them to be productive. We're looking for them to strive to be that good parent, that good brother, that good neighbor.
Right.
I mean, we can't put people in a mindset like, hey, you're a criminal where you did this. I mean, since they doing the thing about expungement right now, I just realized how many people have something on their background. And I'm talking about they in all type of industries. Oh, I had an $85 check that bounced, and they charged me with fraud, but I had paid it. They threw the case out, but it still comes up when
Right.
they run my nursing license. And you have teachers that been through things, and you wouldn't believe who has something on their record. Life has went on, but more people have touched the system than we realize, and it don't take much.
Right.
Do you
Right.
know in Florida, 3 suspended with a driving license, 3 suspended. You get caught driving with a suspended driving license 3 times, that's 5 years in prison in Florida. 5 whole years.
Yes. And if a 19-year-old gets a DUI, they put him in prison.
So,
They put him in jail. Yes.
go ahead.
But now that
Yeah.
you're a returning citizen,
Oh, here we go.
okay.
Thank you.
What is it that you most want to accomplish though, now that
So
you're
let me
out?
correct that.
Okay,
He's not
go.
a returning citizen. He's
Oh.
a case manager for the ReEntry Center.
The
Riviera
ReEntry
Beach.
Center.
Come on now. Say it again. Say it one
The
The
ReEntry
ReEntry
Center.
Center
Oh.
of Riviera Beach. He's not
Okay.
a returning citizen. He's a case manager.
Okay.
Okay, so but in terms of the crime he committed,
Right.
Why we want to talk
Okay.
about
Well,
that?
we're not talking about that.
Yeah,
Let's
what
talk
we
about
talking
his
about?
case management
Right.
skills. Let's talk about that.
Yeah,
Well, I'll tell you, okay, let me share this with you. What inspired the life work I do now is the walk I have, the journey that I went on. Right?
when you were in,
Right. And we got to understand something. At the end of the day, whether I'm a case manager, whether I'm an ex-felon returning citizen, I'm a man. I'm a human.
okay,
So no matter what labels we put on people, we got to remember we human beings first.
Right.
Point blank and period. So what we're striving to do is get people in touch with their human side, get in touch with morality, get in touch, tune with that good energy. And that's what we do. And we got to remove the negative energy out of the way.
Right.
And many times we just become accustomed to the everyday language, the status quo. It keeps negative energy in the way.
Right. And it's an emotional state.
It's emotional.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's emotional. Go ahead. I know you want to say. Go ahead.
It's and it's
no, I'm just wondering, do you feel like you're a different person now than you were when you were 19?
Of course.
Yeah.
That
In what
mean,
sense?
You got one thing. I'm older, mature, and wiser. I wouldn't be the same. I mean, I couldn't be the same person at this age that I was at 19. I mean, I didn't learn anything.
right. Then you're in trouble.
Every day we wake up, we're going to know at least one thing the next day that we didn't know today, whether you heard something on the news, whether you saw it in a magazine, whether you heard it in general conversation. Every day we learn one thing that we didn't know. So we growing every day, whether we realize it or not. How we use it is what makes the difference.
And you agree, Mr. Dixon?
I agree wholeheartedly. Yes, ma'am.
Because
just like he said, we wouldn't be. I'm not the same person I was last month. And like I said, iron sharpens iron, and that goes with everybody in the office. We're all learning and making each other sharper. So we're learning something new every day. And Oz coming in and William Freeman coming in, they're assets, and we make sure we're learning from them. Yeah.
So when I almost said ex-felons, when returning citizens come in.
There you go. That's it.
Yeah, we growing.
We gonna learn you. We gonna learn you.
That's what I'm talking about.
So what is it that y'all focus on when they call or when they say, I need y'all's help? What is the first thing that y'all typically do?
A lot of times, if you make the mistake of asking them what do you need, they're gonna say, well, we need everything. So we have them come in for an intake. We have a conversation with them, and after that intake is done,
and then the case manager,
right,
Mr. Newbold,
right,
yes,
he speaks with them. They do an intake with them, and then we find out more in depth of what they need. And it's usually not everything. It's usually a few things. They'll need some stable housing, stable job, food stamps, and what we do is we work with. We refer out, we work with Career Source, we work with DCF, we work with employers in our community that want to assist us with our clients.
Y'all have a lot of connections, I noticed.
Community partners, as we call them. A lot of it's community partners. We not a one-stop shop.
We are not.
We network to get the different things from mental health to substance abuse to clothes to whatever.
We're very
tell
non-traditional.
Me, Mr. Newbold, why do you think people would be want to work with y'all? Dealing with
I'm messed up. I need help.
Right, and plus, if you're working with the
Period.
ReEntry Center of Riviera Beach, you're working with the best agency,
The
best ReEntry agency in
in
the
what
country.
sense?
In the sense of just working with us. We're passionate about what we do. We have people that have been on that side. We have people that have been on the other side, and working together, we give the best case management services that we allow.
Amazing, huh? I see you. Go ahead.
So, Mr. Newbold, had you when you committed your crime way back when, had you voted before then? I mean,
No.
had you ever voted?
I was a registered voter, but I didn't believe in the voting process then.
At that point,
As
Really?
a teen, right?
Well,
And
you were-
now?
Of course. And see, this is
maybe you were really angry back then. Maybe
No,
that's
I
what
was
it is.
I was
He was
young.
young.
I was
That's it.
young. I'm
Yeah.
a teenager.
We were
I don't.
knuckleheads.
19.
I don't care
Knucklehead.
about
They do,
that.
what did you do at 19?
I was in college.
I was.
He
He was
And-
too.
Okay, so you were in college. You didn't do nothing shady in college.
You weren't worried
Okay.
about the frat
Yeah.
parties.
Oh, you forgot who you were at 19, Marion?
Yeah.
You still do. She forgot who she was. I didn't forget who I
Right.
was at 19.
But seriously, but here go the thing about voting, and I think maybe that changed as we saw Barack, and because that was the time for people that say, well, the voting system does work. Because sometimes you would believe that certain people wouldn't have won. But I say all that to say this: as I got older and paid attention to history, if voting didn't mean anything, they wouldn't be trying so hard to keep your voting right away from you.
Correct.
Good point.
I say if it was nothing, they'll just say, "Oh, give it to them. It don't make no difference anyway." So,
Right.
so your vote does make a difference. That's why they, like in Florida, we got 1.4 million people are affected because they have a background and can't get their right there. And most of them would change even the dynamics
Yes, it
of
will.
it in
Of the
Florida.
politics.
Right.
Yeah.
So have you voted?
Every time now I'm a registered voter. I have not missed a voting time since I got my rights restored. I haven't.
But
Local
your
voter.
rights were restored as a part of Amendment
Amendment
Yeah,
4.
okay.
I'm one of the beneficiaries of Amendment 4.
All right.
Yeah.
And so I'm just curious, why when you were in prison, did you get a sense
You
at all?
institutionalized.
Oh.
You keep taking me
Slightly.
back there.
I know. I
Yeah.
know. I was going to ask you,
You
why you keep going that
institutionalized.
spot? Because I think he has grown past it. We got
But-
5 minutes. I want to hear more positive stuff from
But
his
go
brother.
talk. But go ahead and talk about it, and we'll bring it up
Yeah.
to here.
You just invite us back.
Because here,
No, I was just curious if when you were in the pokey,
Yeah.
If you heard from, other inmates, if they were, interested in voting, was the voting seemed like it was important to them?
No, man, I'm trying to get home to my family. I ain't talking
Yeah,
about
I
no
know.
voting.
You're right.
What you talking about?
Yeah.
You
Right.
tripping. That's
Right.
but I'm saying that's the that
So
works.
I'm gonna pose that question differently.
Okay.
So what was the mindset of those around you at that time? I didn't even go back to that word.
In which year?
When you were around those who were not free.
Well,
See, I'm not even gonna say the negative
you're
stuff.
right. Well, let's put it to you like this. In the beginning, when I was behind the wall, as I would say, peer group is everything. Life is about choices, even behind the wall. You can hang with the knuckleheads who getting into something every 5 minutes. You can hang with the ones who trying to get home and be free again. And I'll say this here. It depends on what year you caught me in.
Right.
In the beginning, I was mad at the system. You know, when I was I got in trouble at 19, 20, I was sentenced. They gave me life, and 15 years in prison.
Wow.
Yeah, so then I was mad at the system, mad at the establishment, just mad at everything. I think I was in prison 5 months, and I went to confinement for like dope deal, salvo, robbery, assault. And they pulled a whole bunch of us back, threw us back there in the hole. But as I got older, I realized I like being out here, being able to move around versus being back there with them little trays coming to confinement. So I started to get it right more. But I think even a man's or woman's success that they run into out here starts before they come home. And it starts with you learning to even changing your peer group in there. You could talk to the ones like, boy, I can't wait to get out there to do a lick. And then you have some people saying, man, I'm never going to do that again because I hate being away from my kids.
And also, reentry starts as soon as you get into prison.
Reentry starts.
That's
It's
when
not
get
after
there.
you
It's
get
not
out.
After you get out, it's the first day because you eventually coming home.
I don't get that.
It's reentry.
Explain to me why reentry. Once
you get into prison, what's your main objective?
Get home.
To get
Get home.
So what
To
happens?
re-enter.
To re-enter. So you need all those tools and skills when you come home.
You start having more reflective properties while you're in there. When
Right.
you're in there.
So
when
you
get
start
in there.
working on things
Sorting
like Oz
stuff
did.
out.
So you start working on what certificates do you have, Oz?
Oh, man, it's a trip.
I remember you that you
Yeah,
did-
so,
did
I
a lot of
mean, I
while
got
you were
about
in
like,
there.
I think I completed 27 programs
Right.
while I was in
27 programs.
Yeah.
education.
You were making yourself better. You went to college. That's what you basically
But
did.
here's what happened. I got 2 of them in my first 15 years. I got the other 25 in my last 10.
Wow.
So it was after my last grandparent passed away that I realized the life I'm returning to is not the life I left. How am I going to really survive?
Yeah.
And I turned the corner.
And that's interesting too, because one of the things that I read said that when you're inside, you do focus on change, but as soon as you get out, you go back to doing the same thing.
Right.
The same.
That's if you haven't come to the reentry center of
That's if
Riviera
you haven't
Beach.
come to
The-
the
But that's the
reentry
stereotype.
center.
But,
Good point. Good point.
but the thing about that is this too. Peer group. I mean, if you go back out to those who running in the streets and doing wrong, either you're going to get into what they're doing or you're going to be like, man, I ain't got time for this. I need to get a job. I mean, life is about choices.
Right.
And life is about choices, and peer pressure, it pressures a lot of people. And they just have to be strong enough to get over that.
I have a question.
Yeah.
What was it like when you re-entered, when you came back and you saw the leap of the technological leaps that society has taken? What was that like emotionally for you?
Well, that's a two-sided question. One thing, when I was I ended up at a private prison at one time, and I took PC support class. So technology, and then, no lie, when I ended up having a cell phone I got caught with, and they sent me way to North Florida. So technology wasn't all new to me when I came out. However, I will share the story. When I came home, I was at a soda machine, and I got the ice, and I couldn't figure out how to get the soda out of there, because I'm used to the fountain where you push the cup.
Right.
So nobody told me about that's a touch screen
Right.
up there to get the soda, and you could get it.
Right.
So I stayed there for a while. So eventually I told somebody, I'm like, hey, this soda machine not working right here. And they like, yeah. And they tried it out and I saw what they did. But nobody told me about that
Wow.
part. Yeah.
So there were advances in society. That
Even
self-checkout.
Self-checkout was challenging to me because I didn't know what a self-checkout was.
Right.
So I had a food stamp card at the time. Didn't even know what I could buy with it. Then I went to self-checkout and didn't know how to check myself out.
Yeah.
But once I got help, I'm a quick study. Once I got that one time, I was good.
Right. Can you imagine going to prison, seeing the Palm Beach Mall, and coming back and seeing the outlet?
Yeah.
That's a trip.
That's ooh.
Yeah,
that's a
that's interesting.
Even the highway system has changed so much around here. More roads are wider open. Don't go through the same way they used to go.
Right.
Everything. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So we've only got a few minutes left. So y'all, let people know how they can get in touch with y'all if they know someone that needs the help that y'all can provide.
Right. So we are the ReEntry Center of Riviera Beach. We're located at 2051 Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard, Suite 307. That's the Port Center building, 3rd floor. You can reach us at 561-840-3141.
All right. And that ReEntry Center, just because y'all serve everybody in Palm Beach County, though, right? Or everybody in the state of Florida, or?
Well, so it's from the county line north to 45th Street is what our agency services, but there's other agencies that service.
We will refer them to the other ones, like if they're in south part of the county.
Right.
If
So
a guy from Delray contact us, we're not going to leave him without.
Right.
We're going to connect him where he needs to be.
Right.
So there are other reentry centers, too?
Yes, ma'am.
I didn't know that.
There's Gulf Stream Goodwill, and then there's the Lord's Place. But we're not talking about them. We're talking about the ReEntry Center of Riviera Beach.
Right.
So it's good, and Okay. All I would say is that I think more discussions about reentry need to be talked about because many people still doesn't know what it is and the services are available.
Okay. Thank you. Thank y'all for
guys.
coming. I appreciate it. I really do.
All right.
Good show.
Yay.
Yeah, you guys.
Parents know their children best, but if you have questions about your child's growth or development, we're here to help. The everyparentpbc.org website and Every Parent app help parents stay one step ahead of their children's milestones. Get helpful tips, expert advice, timely push notifications, and connections to local resources by visiting everyparentpbc.org or signing up for the Every Parent app, provided free by Children's Services Council of Palm Beach County.
MBR and Purity Promotion proudly presents the Purity All-White Weekend, starting on Friday, May 21st, with the Cookout and a live performance with Chanel Mule.
And I will never ever leave precedes. Listen, man, at the Big Bad Cookout. Yours truly will be performing live.
Music by Scorpion, Fire Reds, Firebrand, Nighthawk, Principal, and Island Vibes. Then on Saturday, May 22nd, straight from Yard Come Abroad, it's Jamaica's Immortal Champion Sound, Stola.